There have been many great driving games over the years, and I have covered a couple of them already here at NGR, but one is revered more than any other, and today we're going to be looking at the arcade version of Outrun. The middle of the 1980s was a good time to be a Sega fan in the arcades, especially with their racing series of games. After the success of Hang-On, an enduro racer, they decided to have a go at a car racing game. Yu Suzuki had developed those games and was given the task of creating a new four-wheeled version. He, along with his team, travelled to Europe to gain inspiration for the new game. He was given only 10 months to create his masterpiece, and then at the end of this time frame, in 1986, Outrun was released into the arcades. The game even needed its own arcade board to carry out all the ideas that Yu and his team had, so the Sega Outrun board was produced from the ground up. The game was released with 4 variations on the cabinet, with the deluxe being this sit-down cabinet, along with various stand-up versions. All of the cabinets had a steering wheel, a gear stick and accelerator and brake pedals, making for a more realistic driving experience. Right, that's enough of the cosmetics, let's get into the game. The attract screen shows you what you can expect, and after choosing one of the 3 background tracks it's into the race. The music was designed by the same composer of the Super Hang-On games, Hiroshi Kawazugi, who would then go on to create the music for such Sega games as Afterburner and the Outrun sequel. The game is a semi-3D cannonball run style game where the object is to get to the checkpoint before the time runs down to 0. It sounds easy enough, but the twisting, looping tracks, other road users and obstacles at the side of the road make life difficult. As well as this, you have the low and high gears to make sure that you need to use correctly. Near the end of every stage you get a choice of pathways noted by a fork in the road. Each way is basically a difficulty select level, and if you make it to the end of the game you get different end scenes. The car handles well enough, but on some of the sections you can't help but crash into other road users or fly off the track, and if you do happen to clip one of the other cars it batters you into the edge, quite often meaning you end up flying out. The game is unforgiving. If you happen to crash or hit something, the chances are you won't reach the end in time. It's all part of the coin collection idea of the arcade at the time. You get up to breakneck speeds, and to be honest the game looks amazing for the game of the time. Your Ferrari Testarossa looks fab and you and your girlfriend are sat there, roof down, screaming through the roads. This is an iconic game and inspired many games in the future. But how is it to play today? Well, I enjoy playing it back, albeit through emulation this time, but I have played it many times in an arcade. Outrun to me was one of those games that I played when I was waiting for my turn on something else. 1, maybe 2 games at a time. It never sucked me in like some other arcade games did. By no means a slight on the game, and as I've said, many people love it, but I never got the hype for Outrun. I much preferred Road Blasters or Chase HQ when I was in the arcades. Still, I'm probably in the minority here, so I'm happy to concede and agree to disagree on this occasion. The game went on to spawn many sequels and ports to home computers, and I'll probably be covering the different versions as they go from the good to the downright awful depending on the system, but that's for another day. Outrun does have a place in the Arcade Hall of Fame. Its legacy is there for everyone to see. The designers and playing style went on to influence so many games over the years, and that in itself is testament to the game. Do you agree? Let me know, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time on Noob Game Reviews.